think that might be.
I would agree with that, because I see they filled in the irrigation ditch. Yeah, so they're ready to roll.
They pretty much have their contract. Put their internal streets in.
But then, do they have to move any of those electrical?
I don't think that was in the plan.
I didn't know, I was walking by there yesterday, and I noticed they had markers, but I didn't know if those were street
I
markers.
think that street, that first street goes like this and they go further. And I do know they have to put water and sewer underneath the streets, so they're gonna have to tear up some of the streets, trying to get them to time match without interrupting so much, but it's gonna be a pain.
Gotcha, okay.
I mean, this wait 2.5 months.
Yeah, I noticed that they're ready to roll.
They don't, you know, that audit something they do.
Yeah.
Side looking at. I'd love to see it. They're not getting bigger.
Right, yeah,
All our bedrooms
yeah.
on the second floor.
True.
I really wanna.
I know, that's what Kim and I, we're in a one-level house, luckily, you know, where we're at. But we'd rather have it paid off. And end up at feet head to food. You know.
I know.
So
Then,
this was what appeared in council.
yeah, it's always gonna have a house maintenance. Either you don't or you do, right?
Really, I guess I still have at least 12, 15 years before I retire. So
I'm right there with you.
I mean, motion.
I like it.
Oh,
Pull it from
pull it from consent. Yeah.
Why? It's all right.
Okay. Right, okay, awesome. Yeah, awesome, thank you.
As I was looking back through this, I caught in this, the references when I don't know what law enforcement does.
And I like that.
Oh, that would be a problem.
I've got people on because I have a mission.
And maybe it's.
No, not really. Me too.
I hope you live in Grandpa, that's not time flies.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Yeah.
I'm right there with you, you know, I mean. And, hey, you know, I look at the mirror and go, gets you in a lot of trouble. It does. It does.
Okay, that's fine.
So, yeah, so I'm gonna make sure.
Was that on the,
To be honest, I saw that she sent the email, but I didn't have it.
that's Tuesday. Is it?
80% the things will make that. So,
Yeah,
Are you on that?
Brian,
Hi, Mark.
pretty good.
Mark.
Hello, guys. On tonight too.
yep, you guys gotta hold down this whole.
I know, we gotta hold this down now.
Well, I almost ended up, so
Oh,
I guess it's a good thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Steve has changed this. That's striking.
Test drove a little more just as that. So I'll get the cough drop supply out. Yeah.
Steve said just to strike it. So
It's,
that's
that they do.
striking the reference.
What kind of cough drops do you have?
Not really talked
I was thinking about that. It coats the mouth anyway, right? The throat. I know. I'm with you. It goes. Yeah, right. I know.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the North Platte City Council meeting here Wednesday, February 21st, 2024, and it is 5:30 p.m. and 20 seconds. Sorry, we're starting a little late tonight. Okay, calling the meeting officially to order, and Mr. Nisley, you're going to grace us with a prayer tonight, please. Thank you.
Bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather today, open our hearts and eyes to look with favor on all members of this community. Let us discern what is right and just. Let us make decisions for the common good. Give us the patience to listen and to respect the opinions of others. Give us the power to do what is right and decide in fairness. May our community be known for justice. All this we ask in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Nisley. Roll call, please.
Here.
Bryant.
Here.
Wolf.
Here.
Lucas.
Here.
Gary. Flanders.
Here.
Rieger. Woods.
Here. Thank you. Current copy of the Open Meetings Act of the State of Nebraska is posted on the wall at the back of the council chambers. Meeting procedure. The public may address specific agenda items at the pleasure of the mayor. If recognized by the mayor, please identify yourself by stating your name and address. Please address the council through the mayor and limit your remarks. We respect our city employees and request that any complaints or criticisms of employees not be aired in a public meeting. Concerns about employees should be brought to the attention of the city administrator or the mayor. Individuals in violation will be declared out of order. Consent agenda. All matters under the consent agenda are considered by the city council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any city council member may, however, remove an item from consent by request. Item number 1, approve the minutes of February 6, 2024. Item number 2, approve an interlocal agreement with the state of Nebraska on behalf of the Nebraska State Patrol to provide administration and cooperation for the utilization of North Platte Police Department personnel to provide tactical flight officer support to the Air Wing Division of the Nebraska State Patrol. Number 3, approve information sharing agreement between North Platte Fire Department and North Platte Hospital Corporation, DBA Great Plains Health. Number 4, place on file the treasurer's report for December 2023. Number 5, approve the mayor's appointment of Shelley Deardoff as library director for the North Platte Public Library. Item number 6, approve application by T's Bar and Grill for a special designated liquor license on March 29, 2024 from 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. and March 30, 2024 from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. at the DNN Event Center, 501 East Walker Road for a fundraiser.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item number 2. I'd like to pull that off for further discussion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Bowles, second by Flanders. Calling the question on items number 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the consent agenda. Okay, items 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the consent agenda are passed. Mr. Volz, you had a concern about number 2.
I did. Wanted to point out that we do have 2 troopers here, and I would like to thank them for their service. And they care enough to come here and watch our city council meeting, so I applaud them. The reason I pulled this is because it stated that you needed to live 40 miles from Lincoln, Nebraska. So I believe that was a typo. So I did. We visited with the city attorney and the chief, So I would like to make another motion on item number 2, if that's okay. I move to authorize the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement with the state of Nebraska on behalf of the Nebraska State Patrol to provide administrative and cooperation for the utilization of the North Platte Police Department personnel to provide tactical flight officer support to the Air Wing Division of the Nebraska State Patrol, subject to the revision of Section C1, striking the reference in the version provided in council materials to Lincoln County, Nebraska. To Lincoln, Nebraska. So basically, we're just striking Section C1 where they reference that you needed to live within 40 miles of Lincoln, to striking that verbiage there.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Vols, second by Lucas. In essence, to amend the agreement to remove the words within 40 miles of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yes,
That's generally what you're saying.
yes,
Okay.
it is.
Everybody understand what's being changed?
Do we need to add 40 miles from North Platte, or can that just stay out of there?
I think that can stay out of it. I
Okay.
think it would benefit all parties if it
All right.
did.
Okay.
Okay. Folks from the State Patrol, do you mind if we stay 40 miles outside of Lincoln? Is that all right? Just making sure. Okay. Okay, any other discussion on the motion? Seeing none, calling the question on number 2 as amended by Councilman Vols. Motion is passed with the amendment. Thank you. Excuse me, amended language. Moving on to the regular agenda. Item number 7, adopt resolution acknowledging and accepting the assignment of the franchise ordinance from Northwestern Corporation to Northwestern Energy Public Service Corporation.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution acknowledging and accepting the assignment of the franchise ordinance from Northwestern Corporation to Northwestern Energy Public Service Corporation.
Second.
Motion by Vols, second by Lucas. Do we have any discussion on this item? There was 2 weeks ago, or when last we met, there was some question regarding the possible effects of the existing contracts by essentially changing the name of the entity. Mr. Attorney?
Yes, I did a little more looking into that, and the agreement that was of concern, I think to most that were involved, was the agreement that basically sets forth an economic development fund through Northwestern Energy. And so the documentation that I've been able to locate on that, it shows as an agreement for the cities of Grand Island, Kearney, and North Platte. So it's a kind of a multi-party agreement, because my assumption, I don't know a lot about what went into this agreement, but my assumption is that Grand Island and Kearney have similar funds through Northwestern. And so it does reference Northwestern Public Service. And so I will be talking with Northwestern's their corporate counsel, their in-house counsel, about whether we need to make any change to that. So as a reminder, the item before you on today's agenda doesn't address this agreement that I'm discussing, but I want everybody to know that we've determined that there is an agreement out there, and so we'll be looking further into what steps we need to take because of the corporate restructuring. So as a reminder, the corporate restructuring has happened, and the ordinance that we have in place allows Northwestern to make this assignment. And so I have no concerns with approving what's in front of the council here today. But just know that I'm working on what steps need to be taken with any of these other agreements. The only one that we're aware of is for the Economic Development Fund.
Okay, thank you.
After reading through all of this, I mean, it does appear just to be a basic, change of language to just move some stuff around and all that. So I'm not really worried about it either. But oddly enough, I have a question that, my wife was reading me a gas bill today that we got. And on there is an occupation tax. And I just wondered what that was used for. Is it used to fund that fund, or where does it go?
That occupation tax is one of the occupation taxes that the city has that goes into the general fund for operations.
Okay,
And that's a percentage, I think it's a 3% fee, and that varies depending on what the gas rates are. We've seen it go way down, then we've seen it when gas prices were high a couple of years ago where that was more for the city than it is. And so it varies with the gas prices tremendously.
it goes down as the price goes up. It goes up with it. Okay.
Because it's just a flat percentage,
Yeah,
and
it's
so when
just
the
a flat
gas prices go way down like they were a few years ago, it's a lot less, and then when they went up, it's more. So that's
Okay.
we see it very, very greatly in the general fund.
Okay. Thanks for answering that. I know it really had nothing to do with this, but since we were on the subject.
Just to maybe add one thing, if that's okay, Mayor. I think that bill has a specific, I'm trying to remember the way it reads, but I think on mine, it's like $1 or $2 for economic development on it that's separate of the tax that you're talking about, Mark.
It's got a lot of stuff on it. It's
Yeah.
about 25% tax with all the different things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, any other questions or comments on this one? Seeing none, calling the question, please. Number 7, thank you. Number 7 is passed. Number 8, approve bid in the amount of $1,225,263.65 and authorize the mayor to sign contract for paving district number 836 with Level LLC, North Platte, Nebraska.
I move to approve the bid and authorize mayor to sign contract for paving district number 836 as presented in council materials.
Second.
Motion by Flanders, second by Vols. Any discussion or questions on item number 8? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 8, please. Item number 8 is passed. Item number 9, approve bid in the amount of $1,280,000 to authorize mayor to sign, and authorize mayor to sign contract for street improvement district number 362 with Simon Contractors of North Platte, Nebraska.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the bid and authorize mayor to sign contract for street improvement district number 362 as presented in the council materials.
Second.
Motion by Lucas, second by Vols. Any discussion on this item? Brent, this is the Willow Street Viaduct, correct? Okay. Yes, sir.
Since Brent's here, I was wondering if he could give us just a brief overview of how it's migrated based on projection and time frame of being down, and just a little update. I know that when you were going out for proposals on this, you knew there could be some variance in it. So maybe just a little bit of a summary of how it all came together.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Brent Berkland, City Engineer. We bid 3 projects separately. We created 3 districts, Buffalo, Willow, and Poplar, with the goal of trying to get as much as we could repaired. And the prices came in higher, and we had 1 bidder, which that's what we've been hearing statewide, is there's a shortage of bridge repair crews and companies. And so as far as price goes, we're higher on the 3 combined than what we're looking at. So Willow is the most pressing. It's the oldest with the most need for significant repairs. The other ones we need to get to, but this was the first one that we wanted to tackle. And it involves repairing an abutment, a pier. There's some structural concrete on the pier and one of the supports that we need to replace a fair amount of concrete on that. And then some of the joints and the expansion, things like that. That's what we're looking at in the $1 million, which $1 million in construction doesn't get us much when you look compared to 4 years ago. So, and as far as time frame, we were looking, it's going to be later this summer when Simons gets to it. And preliminary, we're talking, it might be in the 6-week range. I think it's gonna be less than that, but they're probably just gonna have it closed for 6 weeks. They're gonna have to hold up the bridge to do the repair work on the pier. So they're gonna have to lift the bridge, take the weight off of the pier to do their work. So we can't have the traveling public on it. No trucks rumbling and shaking as they're temporarily holding it in place. So there's going to be a period of time in there that it's going to be closed entirely to do the repair work. But we have Jeffers and Buffalo and Poplar that can work as a workaround in the short period.
So we won't be doing that during the middle 2 weeks of June, right?
No.
Okay.
That was very explicitly. Didn't we start a project in June last year? No. I don't think that was us. But.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Any other questions for Brent while we've got him up here?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How
Brent.
long a cure time do you have on that before you can let traffic back on it?
Most of it, I mean, normal concrete, you're probably in the 7 days a week. This concrete's higher strength and you'll get cure quicker. So where they're probably going to start is on the pier and abutment area. And if it's closed roughly the 6 weeks, they get that started, they get that done sooner. They'll be doing other work while that's still curing. So we should, 28 days is when you're at 95% strength, but usually it's around 7 days that you can comfortably put things back on it. It's 80% strength and it's higher strength concrete. So it'll get strength quicker. So good question.
Anything else? Okay, thanks, Brent.
Yes.
Other thoughts or questions on item number 9? Calling the question on item number 9, please. Item number 9 is passed. Item number 10, adopt a resolution authorizing the issuance of one warrant to Nebraska Department of Transportation in the amount of $1,046,999.06 and 2 warrants to TC Engineering, Inc. totaling $87,099.64.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the resolution authorizing the issuance of 3 warrants as presented in the materials.
Second.
Motion by Flanders, second by Vols. Any discussion on item number 10?
Mayor,
Mr. Lucas?
may I ask to abstain from it just due to the potential for a conflict of interest?
Okay. The record show Councilman Lucas has abstained from item number 10. Other thoughts or questions? Okay, calling the question on item number 10, please. Item number 10 is passed. We don't have any special. That's right. Okay. Okay. So we can turn. All right. Thank you, everyone. Item number 11, adopt ordinance number 4160, annexing parcel ID number 005556.50 and 005556.57, described as part of Lot 3 Quality Properties First Subdivision and Lot 3 Quality Properties Fourth Subdivision, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, into the corporate limits of the city of North Platte, consisting of approximately 21.51 acres, on its second reading.
Would you like me to read the ordinance?
Oh, yes, read the ordinance, please. Sorry, forgot to make my little mark here. Thank you.
Ordinance number 4160, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, to include within the corporate limits of the city of North Platte certain lands described as part of Lot 3 Quality Properties First Subdivision and Lot 3 Quality Properties Fourth Subdivision, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the effective date and publication thereof.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 4160, annexing parcel ID number 0055596.50 and 0055596.57, described as part of Lot 3, Quality Properties First Subdivision, and Lot 3, Quality Properties Fourth Subdivision, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, into the corporate city limits of North Platte, consisting of approximately 21.51 acres on second reading.
Second.
Motion by Vols, second by Nisley. Discussion? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 11.
So, Mayor, since the passage of an ordinance requires at least 5 votes in this situation, under the revisions of state law, you would be allowed to vote on this issue then to gain the required number of votes.
Okay. I vote in favor. Ordinance is passed. Okay. Number 12. Adopt resolution to approve a micro-TIF project for, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Got myself out of the line here. Sorry. Number 12 is pulled from the agenda. We have a question on that application. Item number 13. Adopt resolution to approve a micro-TIF project for MADD Properties LLC for rehabilitation of an existing commercial structure upper floor into residential loft apartments located at 306 East 6th Street.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt a resolution to approve a micro-TIF project for MADD Properties LLC for rehabilitation of an existing commercial structure upper floor into residential loft apartments located at 306 East 6th Street.
Second.
Motion by Lucas, second by Vols. Discussion on item number 13. Mark,
Mayor?
go ahead.
Yeah. First thing is just a little nitpicky thing, something that bothers me. On question 5, where it asks for the increase in the assessed value a couple times, they're not putting the actual increase, they're just putting what the new value will be. Because if this goes as written, then they can't have micro-TIF because it'll put them, the assessed value would be over the 1.5 million. So I'm assuming this is the total. And I realize this is nitpicky, but it's just
You know, I think Judy
bothers me.
Yeah, Judy has been making some minor tweaks to those
Yeah.
applications, and so we will ask her to put in some language that tries to clarify that.
Yeah. Saves me having.
I agree. It's better to be clear if we can.
Okay.
So,
And that bothers me on this because it's so close that this could easily go over. And if they can't do this without TIF, which, I mean, I don't really have very many numbers, but I believe this could be cash flowed without too much problem, without any help, but it's just my opinion. But that worries me, and so I have a real problem with this one.
but we'll get some language to try to clarify that number in the future.
Okay, so, yeah, I appreciate that.
Mr. Nisley?
I was just gonna make a comment, Mayor, that I think it's a little bit confusion on the form itself. I mean, it's, there really gives nothing to, you want the increase in value, yet you don't put a figure for what the current, the new value will be. I mean, you can just do this by subtracting one from the other. But I think that the form ought to be adjusted, so you put, the end value less, and then that's what the increase is. I think the form is a little bit weak in that area.
I agree, Jim. You could take that almost either way. And like I said, I'm being
No,
nitpicky.
it's legitimate.
It's
It's
legal.
I'll admit that.
Well,
Just subtract those two when they're
fortunately,
being
it's
answered.
something we can easily fix with
Yeah.
with 3 lines, an equal sign, and a plus sign, so
there you
it'll be
go.
okay.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
I think Donna had a comment, so
Oh,
Donna, go ahead.
I just had a question about, I did drive by there and the parking, I guess, for these loft apartments would be in the street on East Sixth Street?
No,
Are they gonna park?
in their private parking behind to the south.
Oh, there's parking back. Oh, okay, I didn't go back.
Picture in there. Then they're
Okay.
redoing the concrete there.
Okay, thank you. That was,
Ty, go ahead, sir.
On the Department of Economic Development put out a form set on this originally. And so just that, as they're looking at tweaking the form, they've got to figure out how that coordinates with that. Why, so.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all in the form. All right. Other questions or comments? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 13. Item number 13 is passed. Item number 14. Adopt resolution authorizing the use of ARPA funds, or ARPA funds, for paving a section of South Bryan Avenue.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution designating the use of ARPA funds for the paving of Bryan Avenue.
Second.
Motion by Lucas, second by Vols. Discussion on this item? Lane, you want to give us a little blurb on what we're doing here?
Yes, I apologize. I don't have a map for everyone. It's basically where Bryan Street going south ends, kind of just a dead end street, going about a block and a half south of that, which would go about a block south of where Francis would come through and intersect. And it's extending that, doing the Bryan Street and the intersection there where Francis and Bryan would meet. That's the same area we discussed, I believe, last meeting for the connections project that they're doing in that area. So it would allow some street going in that area to continuing the development to the south.
Mark?
Lane, are these ARPA funds only available for use because it's in connection with low-income housing?
That is some of the criteria with the original ARPA money that we received. I mean, there was a list of criteria that just available to use it for. The city, because we received less than 10 million, they're a little bit looser on the qualifications, but we're trying to stay within the original qualifications of that when we received about $4 million in ARPA funds.
Yeah, there's no way we could get them just to do gravel roads in residential neighborhoods.
The ARPA funds were intended for, it's described right in language as something to the effect of the most disadvantaged population, which I think probably what's being built by the connection in that area. The folks in there would typically class into that class of people. So we felt that this was probably a very valid use. My concern with getting a little edgy with ARPA funds is we don't know what might happen in 10 years when an auditor shows up or something and someone decides that we maybe we didn't use them right and then we end up having to pay them back. So I'd like to stay within the rules, but they have been changing a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll ask our noble city attorney over here, who often has nothing to do every day. I'm just kidding, Bill.
Well,
to kind of do some research on that and see if because the rules have been evolving a little bit over the last couple of years, and it's possible that maybe they've evolved and we could consider something like that.
yeah. Well, personally, I don't think it'd be right either, because for me, the ARPA funds, for what they were given to people for, have nothing to do with doing roads. But if it could be done, I know a lot of gravel roads that need done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep. Donna?
So this is kind of off this topic a little bit, but if we put Bryan on through there, and will that increase traffic at some point in time coming north on Bryan to East Phillip?
Possibly.
I've already heard complaints about how long people have to wait at the stop sign and to cross East Phillip. I don't really see a traffic light being used there, but
Maybe not at that intersection, but as traffic increases in that area, that would be something where a traffic study could be conducted to
done.
see if, the last light along Phillip is there on Cottonwood, and if it makes sense any further to the east, but that would be,
did look at that.
it'd be a traffic study. It wouldn't be just something where we just throw one somewhere, and they would determine where the best intersection or the best location would be for something like that, if it would be warranted.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments on item number 14? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 14, please. Item number 14 is passed. Item number 15, adopt ordinance number 4162 to authorize the conveyance of all of Block 3 in Industrial Park 3 subdivision, third subdivision of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska by the city of North Platte to Midwest Land Development LLC on first reading. Lane?
Ordinance number 4162, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, directing and authorizing the conveyance of a certain described tract of land, to wit, all of Block 3 in Industrial Park 3rd Subdivision to North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, for and in consideration as specified, and providing for the manner of said conveyance, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the effective date and publication thereof.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 4162 to authorize the conveyance of all Block 3 in Industrial Park 3rd Subdivision to North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska by the city of North Platte to Midwest Land Development LLC.
Second.
Motion by Bowles, second by Flanders. Any discussion on item number 15? Mr. Lucas?
Yeah, I'd like to motion for an amendment to the proposed ordinance that the sale of the land would be contingent upon the approval and completion of the final redevelopment contract.
I would second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by we have a proposed amendment by Councilman Lucas to make the sale of the land contingent on a successful redevelopment contract, and a second by Councilman Voles on that amendment. Any discussion on that amendment?
I think it's a good idea.
I could share with you guys what I was thinking about on that, is that, obviously the sale of this land is part of a major redevelopment project that's going to include significant infrastructure expense. And those items, I think, would generally be outlined in the city's redevelopment contract with the developer versus outlining all that in the purchase agreement. So I appreciate your support on that amendment.
Other questions or comments? Okay, calling the question on the amendment as proposed by Councilman. Amendment is passed. Okay, back to the original agenda item as amended. Any other questions or comments on item number 15 as amended? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 15 as amended. Item number 15 is passed. Item number 16, approve the claims.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the claims.
Second.
Motion by Flanders, second by Nisley. Calling the question and approving the claims. Claims are approved. Public agenda request. We respect our city employees and request that any complaints or criticisms of employees not be aired in a public meeting. Concerns about employees should be brought to the attention of the city administrator or the mayor. Individuals in violation will be declared out of order. At this point in the agenda, any member who's in the audience who would like the city council to consider an agenda item in the future, please approach the mic and tell us what you're thinking.
Tracy Martinez, North Platte. I'd like to give a compliment, if that's okay, I could do. I want to give a compliment to Lane and Brent, who went up there. We're trying to develop our land. These two guys are the only ones who ever took us serious. And they went up, and I hope you get a copy from them. They gave us the plan. Everything I wanted to know that the city required me to put in a street. And they have it down to square foots and everything like that. I think you made this a boilerplate to start. This is the first time that you did this. So they created this, and I hope, Jim, you look at this. But they're all hip with what we want to do. We're looking at plans to making a nonprofit grocery store at our warehouse, where we can back up 40-foot trailers. We're looking at making a nonprofit indoor garden facility. We're looking at making, on the east end of 8th Street, a community center that's lacking on the north side. But I have to give these guys, I told them when we first met with them, I said, if you're going to yank my chain, just tell me to get the hell out of here. I won't be bothered. They took me serious. They believed in it. I think it's because they're former railroad workers, that they understand how business works. And they were very helpful. Judy Clark gave us the nonprofit information that we need. We're working, the Lincoln Connection, Ms. Lewis.
Tracy, I appreciate it,
Okay.
but we
But I
don't
wanna
have
give you-
anything
I
on the
wanna give you a
agenda. We
compliment.
can't break the meetings act. So
Right, I wanna
thank
let
you very
know.
much.
I want to give them a compliment.
We
because they're
appreciate it.
Very helpful.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to make an agenda request? Mr. Flanders,
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
motion by Flanders, second by Vols to adjourn. Calling the question on adjournment. Renee, Mr. Woods, would you press your button there, please?
Mark.
Vote.
Mark, no,
Bingo.
sorry.
You know,
I
maybe
saw
there's
you
something
push
wrong
it.
with this. I gotta push it. Really, really.
We'll get
hard.
you a new battery, okay? All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.